ladies and gentlemen of LondonCD, use Flatscreens. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, Flatscreens would be it. The benefits of Flatscreens have been proved in Hollywood, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. Enjoy the confidence and optimism of greenfield projects. Oh, never mind. You'll not appreciate the confidence and optimism of greenfield until everything starts going to hell. But trust me, when you finally ship, you'll look back at the code you wrote and recall in a way you can't grasp now how simple everything seemed and how productive you really were. Your code is not as bad as you imagine. Don't worry about changing database providers, or worry, but no, every company who used an ORM in case they needed to switch databases never did. The real problems in your projects are the dependencies you can't control. The engineer who unexpectedly walks out of your team at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. Learn one thing every day that scares you. Optimize. Don't reformat other people's code bases. Don't put up with people who reformat yours. Rebase. Don't get obsessed with frameworks. Sometimes they help, sometimes they hurt. It's the user experience that matters, and the user doesn't care how you created it. Remember the retweets that you receive. Forget the flame bait. If you succeed in doing this, tell me how. Keep your old hard drives. Throw away your old network cards. Refactor. Don't feel guilty if you don't understand F#. Some of the most productive developers I've worked with didn't know F#. Some of the best systems architects I know still don't. Write plenty of tests. Be kind to your keys. You'll miss them when they're gone. Maybe you have a degree, maybe you don't. Maybe you run an open source project, maybe you don't. Maybe you wrote code that flew on the space shuttle, maybe you worked on Microsoft SharePoint. Whatever you do, keep improving, and don't worry where your next gig's coming from. There's a big world out there, and they're always going to need good developers. Look after your brain. Don't burn out. Don't be afraid to take a break. It is the most powerful computer you will ever own. Launch. Even if you have no users but your own QA team. Have a plan even if you choose not to follow it. Do not read the comments on YouTube. They will only make you feel angry. Cache your package dependencies. You never know when they will be gone for good. Read your log files. They're your best source of information and the first place you'll notice if something starts to go wrong. Understand that languages come and go, and it's the underlying patterns that really matter. Work hard to fill the gaps in your knowledge, because the wiser you get, the more you'll regret the things you didn't know when you were young. Develop in x86 assembler once, but stop before it makes you smug. Develop in Visual Basic once, but stop before it makes you stupid. Read. Accept certain inalienable truths. Your code has bugs, you'll miss your deadlines, and you too might end up in management. And when you do, you'll fantasize that when you were a developer, code was bug-free, deadlines were met, and developers tuned their database indexes. Tune your database indexes. Don't deploy your code without testing it. Maybe you have a QA team, maybe you have integration tests. You never know when either one might miss something. Don't mess too much with your user interface, or by the time you launch, it will look like a karaoke booth. Be grateful for open source code, but be careful whose code you run. Writing good code is hard, and there is more to open source than taking bits of your projects folder, sticking a README on them, and hoping if you put them up on GitHub, somebody else will come along and fix all of your problems. but trust me on the flat screens.